Welcome to the show. I'm Tosh Taylor.
And I'm Jenna Morton. And today we have a repeat guest joining us, someone that you might recognize from previous episodes. But we're going to talk about things maybe a little different than before this time. We are thrilled to welcome back Natalie Davison.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Ooh, welcome back.
When can you call me a regular?
Yeah. I think we're getting close.
Yeah,
Okay.
after today.
All right.
Yeah.
So those of you who might have heard Natalie on the show before, we've usually talked about parenting, we've talked about marketing, and now we're going to kind of combine marketing and real estate because you have gone back to real estate.
I'm a dynamic person.
Yeah.
I have varied interests, and
Very
hobbies
varied
and professions.
So you are still a marketer, which is, I think that's just goes without saying. I think that's just in your blood. There will never be a time in your life you are not,
Yeah, I think so too.
whether or not you're doing it as your job. And real estate is also something that's been a big part of your life that I think some people locally didn't necessarily know until recently.
Either like only knew that about me or knew this, yeah. But I have two businesses essentially, which has been kind of interesting to watch people respond to. I think that's been really interesting for me as a woman specifically. I think lots of people own two businesses, but for some reason I've been met with a lot of like, oh, you're doing only that now? And I'm like, no, why are you assuming,
Yeah.
you know, why are you assuming like this limitation? But that's for a different podcast. Yeah, I have a real estate business that's locally based, and I serve people here in our community or people coming to our community or leaving our community. And then I still have my marketing company, Mara, where we teach small business owners how to stay on brand. That is not just a local business. We serve people from coast to coast and a little into the US as well.
Amazing.
So talk a little bit about that idea of having two businesses and how they play off each other and how they're playing into your life.
Well, realtors are marketers, or should be. And, you know, no offense if anybody takes offense to that, but really they should be. I mean, that is the role. And if you approach marketing the way I do, which is marketing is just getting humans to take action. Really, that's what it is. It's an exercise in getting humans to do something. And if you understand that, then that is the essential component of your role as a realtor. So the tasks of the day-to-day in terms of like what I sell in each business are slightly different, but the overarching philosophies are still the same, which is listen to what's happening in a market, figure out who you can help and how you can help them, and then do that really well.
Okay. So tell us why now was the time for you to go back into real estate.
Because we had made some shifts in my other business that gave me some time, and I don't do well with idle spare time. I tend to fill it. I think it was having twins, you know, that really taught me what I can accomplish in the run of a day, and I've not really wired to have idle time on my hands. So
I understand
that's
that.
really why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are like, oh, because the market's really good, you're gonna make a lot of money. I'm like, if I just wanted to make a lot of money, like maybe a second business isn't the easiest way to do that. So, but that's for a whole other kind of can of worms. But yeah, and I also found myself constantly just doing this work anyway. So, but then having to, you know, give it to somebody else. So I would be with my friends on the weekends or my family members or whatever. And, you know, before they ever called a realtor, I used to be a realtor, we would be spending extensive amounts of time working on their search or getting their home ready or whatever it was. And I just thought, this is crazy.
Yeah,
Let's
just do it.
Just do it and see it through. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that we talk a lot about is that idea of marketing, and you make it sound so simple, and yet so many people struggle with it.
Yeah.
And people, I think, really struggle with knowing when to jump in on something or when things are shifting. And I think that you are kind of that prime example of how things are shifting right now.
Okay.
And so I want you to talk a little bit about specifically marketing in real estate.
Okay.
And how that's changing or how you see it changing.
Well, I think that marketing in anything, and then I'll talk specifically about real estate, but marketing in anything if you want to be really great at it, it's accessible to everybody. But we were socialized in a world that wasn't like that. So we were socialized in a world that was mass marketing. If you had a lot of money, you could reach a lot of people. And the message was for a lot of people. So that was the world we grew up in. And that is what we're kind of wired toward because of our socialization. And that's just not how the best marketing works. The best marketing starts from listening. And so in terms of my timing with real estate, I mean, did I identify in my brain an opportunity because many realtors are marketing the way we used to market? Like, yes. And people are buying houses digitally. People are virtually. They're buying houses online. They're buying houses sight unseen. That is unheard of. So I was a realtor in Toronto. We've seen, my husband and I both worked in that market. We've seen multiple offers in insanity, a lot of the things that we're seeing in our market now. But we have never seen people buy houses sight unseen. That is unheard of. And that means that we need to be leveraging digital tools and, there's all kinds of tactics that I used to build my online business and to transition Merrill from an agency to an education company that transfer immediately to an online digital virtual real estate practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot to break down in that. So what do you think of this world? So what do you do for someone, because you obviously would still have connections in Toronto.
Yep.
And a lot of these people I know, because I'm from that area, want to, I have friends calling me going, how do I get to the East Coast?
Yeah.
Get me to the East Coast. I need to get out of here. So what are you using? What are you implementing with these people to start showing them these houses?
So, I mean, I always want to meet the client where they're at, and it's not, when I work in my business at Merrill, there's a certain level of digital competency that most small business owners have now that you can rely on. That's not the case necessarily with somebody buying a house. So we figure out what they have. I sold a house recently using Facebook Video Messenger because that's the only tool this client, and they had never used it, but at least they had Facebook, right? They've never touched Zoom. They've never done anything like that. And I wanted a live interaction so they could say, hey, open that closet, and I wouldn't oversee something. So it's extremely responsive for sure, but there's also just a lot of opportunity for just understanding that I've been saying this for years. So even when I wasn't selling real estate, I was working with people who sold real estate as a marketing coach. And nobody wants you to come, even before the pandemic, nobody wanted you to come sit at their kitchen table anymore.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the industry still required that was really something. And so it no longer does. So I'm just working on figuring out my own process and systems for our business that we can roll out that way.
Looking in the crystal ball of the future, eventually we are not going to be living in a pandemic anymore. But things will have changed. How do you think real estate and real estate marketing is going to look after all this? What parts are going to stick around of these changes?
I think that real estate in our area is going to be driven by whatever business does. So if business requires people to go back to office towers in major centers, then that's not going to be great for our region. And if it doesn't, then we're going to be doing this for a while. As people continue to see, there are still cost advantages, obviously, to Atlantic Canada, specifically to our city in Moncton. There are a lot of things that make this area attractive for people who have had to stay in the city for work or different reasons like that. So I don't personally, I guess this could all go away in terms of how we work if we choose to, but that's not my intention. I see a lot of opportunity to be able to connect with more people and to help and serve more people achieve their goals by leveraging digital tools.
Okay, so I don't want you to give away your secrets, but if you had to recommend to a local realtor that they change the way they're marketing, what's the first thing you're going to suggest to them?
Yeah, such a weird position.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of recommendations, but I think it doesn't even come down to it doesn't even come down to so specific to the transactions or using digital tools. For all realtors everywhere, nobody cares about just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. Like nobody, like if you listed it, we know you sold it. Like that's the market we're in.
True,
So,
yeah.
you know, no offense, I love you all, but we don't need you to do that. You have, you as a realtor, as any small business owner, you have unique value you bring to the table. And sometimes we default to what everybody else is doing to avoid the discomfort. I just hit my mic, sorry everybody. To avoid the discomfort of digging into what makes us unique, because we're taught not to do that, right? Don't take up too much space. And so I really encourage you to take up more space and don't default to the automatic, just sold, what everybody else is doing. You don't have to do that. You have something that you should be sharing on a regular basis to create connection to your audience and be able to grow the right customer base for you.
And to that point, we referenced at the beginning that you've been a guest on the show before. And one of those topics that we talked about was the time you spent on TikTok, which to me is exactly what you're talking about there.
Bit of a long-term vacation I spent over there, yes.
No, but you made a point of enjoying and using TikTok and grew a following that wasn't necessarily there before, right? Some people followed you there, other people found you there, and a lot of those people connected with you.
Yeah.
And now those same people, especially the ones who maybe don't live here, are going, oh, if I want to go there, oh yeah, I remember that girl that was dancing.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, 100%. And you know, the interesting thing about marketing is like, so I grew up fast, decent sized audience on TikTok, bigger than I have on any other platform, and frankly, something I don't actually know what to do with at the moment. Like I've got this audience of people on TikTok that don't necessarily align with what I do for a living. So I'm in this kind of weird place right now, trying to figure that out. I'm also in a very strange place with even my real estate marketing. I thought about it a lot today, and I was like, oh, Jenna said, come talk about disruptive marketing. And then I gave myself an existential crisis about like, are you disruptive even? Like your marketing's not even that good right now. And all of these things, right?